What's up, folks? So, you've come here, probably from my last video, maybe not, I don't know, but you want to learn how to use OBS Studio because you decided that, get out of here, XSplit, get out of here, slobs! You're gonna pick the top dog, and that's OBS Studio. So let's go through the basic steps from install to stream.
Ready?
Let's get you rolling, baby.
Go!
So we're gonna make this quick. Right before we jump into all the goodies, all the good stuff, remember to follow me on Twitch. I stream there every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday at 6 PM EST. We got Discord. I got all the other social medias. Hit like and subscribe. Share the video with everybody. All right, moving on. Let's go. First things first, we have to actually install the program. I know I already went over this briefly in my plugins video. You should definitely go check that out. It's a good one. But let's just go through it for the sake of this video again. We're going start to finish, so let's install the program. You want to go to obsproject.com. Then, after downloading it for whichever operating system you're using, Windows is the good system to use. That's the best. Install the program, let your computer do its thing, and you should be hit with the auto setup wizard. So in this video, I assume you're using this just for streaming primarily. So you'll have recording be your secondary, which is the top option. So we're gonna select that, but keep in mind, you can also simply record gameplay if you wanna do like YouTube content and cut things up and then put it up on YouTube later on. That's also an option. And if you wanna do both, it's probably a good idea to have a pretty decent PC, so that way you can encode the stream and the recording at the same time. We'll get into that a little bit later when it comes to the bitrate and setting all that up. So let's hit next. Excuse me. Canvas resolution is going to be whatever your screen size is going to be. For most people, this will be 1080p, and then whatever whatever gameplay you're going to be at, let's prefer 60 FPS, just because that's, again, kind of the standard now. If your computer can't handle it, it's always easy enough to go back down to 30 FPS. Not a big deal. Hit next. Most people are probably going to be using Twitch, but you can also select any of the other ones up here. I'll pick Twitch just because that's where my account is. Go ahead and follow me. Love you. And you can connect the account or use the stream key. I'll do connect account because I think that is the easiest. So you just type in your username and stuff here, which I'll do. Oh my gosh. I don't remember my password. Remember that. Authenticating. Boom. Okay. So you do want to prefer hardware encoding. This is going to use your NVENC encoder, which I'll show you in the settings in a little bit. And you do want to go ahead and estimate the bandwidth test just to see where you're at. I'm going to go through and do a speed test just to show you kind of where you should expect to be streaming to anyway. So, or what values you should be expecting to stream at. So let's run this and do its thing. Okay, so the video bitrate is going to be 6,000. It's going to be hardware encoding, which is what we wanted, the NVENC encoder. That's your graphics card rather than your CPU. I'll explain that in a little bit as well. And then we got the settings we wanted, the 1080p and the 60 frames per second. So let's apply these settings. And look, it even brings up our chat. It brings up our streaming information, so that way you can change it within OBS. Let's go ahead and maximize it here for the next bit. We can dock these, which is awesome. I like to dock mine on, because my streaming stuff is usually to my right. So when I look to my right, I like to see my chat and stuff right over there. And then you can resize everything as you want. So you can resize all this stuff, which is great. Awesome. And so already we're pretty good. We're pretty set. Now, when you hit that start streaming button, it should stream straight to your page. However, we don't want to stream just a black screen. So remember, what you see here in this canvas is going to be what your viewers in your channel see. Nobody wants a black screen. So let's go ahead and set up these scenes and get that going too, so we can put on a show. Okay, so we have our stream key set up. Now we just need to talk about what settings we should tweak before we get going on setting up the beautiful canvas where our image is going to be showing up. So in these settings, the general ones you don't really have to mess with. Personally, I record my streams, so I like to automatically record when I hit the start streaming button, so I don't have to push them both individually. And then I also like to keep recording when the stream stops. That's just me. If you're not recording them, you can always pull them off of Twitch later. It's not gonna be a big deal. The stream you've already seen, this is where you put the stream key in. With the output, we need to figure out what bit rate you can stream at. Twitch has some recommendations for their encoding. If you want to broadcast at 1080p 30 frames a second, you should be at or above 45 kilobits a second. That's 4.5 megabits a second. And then if you want to do 1080p 60 frames a second, that's where you want to do the 6000 or higher. So do that, and you should have a pretty enjoyable viewer experience, or your viewers should have a pretty enjoyable viewing experience. Moving right along, let's go down the settings menu further. So right now we have our audio, and the basic sample rate's fine. The desktop audio here is what is going to be, if you want the stream to hear what's going through your desktop, like the game audio, for example, you will set this to whichever input you want. So default should be okay for the basic user. And then you don't need a second audio source. For the microphone, I have a Yeti set up here, so this is how I'm going to be able to communicate with my chat. Oh, it's right there. It was right in front of me. So now, once we hit apply, you'll see these audio sources down here. The video, we can keep it at 980 or 920 by 1080p. We've already done our frame rate. We set all this up in the auto configuration wizard. If you need to change it, you can. If you need to scale your resolution down so it's easier for your computer to handle, you can scale it down here with one of the ratios here. So it tells you your ratio if you're staying at 16:9. So if your computer's having trouble streaming at the full 1080p 60 frames a second, try altering the frame rate and try altering the resolution. Just scale it down to maybe 720p. And that should help out a lot. And then you can also adjust the bitrate if that's something that's necessary. That's about it. Now, you'll see in here that the microphone is being picked. It's picking up my voice, but we still can't see anything on the canvas. So we're gonna go through setting all that stuff up next. All right, cool. So now that now that OBS can hear us, we're gonna go ahead and make sure OBS can see us and what we're trying to put on the screen. So pretty easy to do. Everything so far has been really easy, right? Like and subscribe if you think this has been easy so far. I know you guys do. All right, here we go. So I've already got the scene. Let's rename it just so we know what it's about. We want to know what this scene is all about. So right click, rename. We can do, let's do intermission or cam. So this is our intermission camera scene, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and just add the camera. Video capture device. I have a Logitech C270 set up here, so it's a 720p camera. It's not any good. We'll just do crappy cam. There we go. It picked me up. It sees me. Awesome. I don't like the resolution it's at though. I know it's a 720p, so I'm gonna do custom. We're gonna go ahead and do 720p, and we can do. You can match the output FPS. That's fine. It'll only do what it's able to do. So this camera can only do 30 frames a second, I believe. So we'll stick with 30 frames a second. But here I am. Let's center me. So Control D centers whatever thing you have selected, whatever source you have selected, which is right now the only thing here is the cam. We're going to add a couple of more things a little bit later. But let's go ahead and make another scene. Let's make a gameplay scene. So let's make another scene. Let's do gameplay. Gameplay. We can add a display capture, or you can do a game capture, where display capture or game capture. The difference between the two is this one will only look for whichever application may be running in full screen, which most games you play automatically do so. It also uses less resources, so less CPU or graphics card encoding power, which may be good for those of you on a single PC setup. Then you can do it by display capture. It does require more resources, which is why I typically recommend not doing it unless you've got a 2 PC setup or just a beast PC. So display 1. Let's do display 1. It'll bring up the display options. You can see here, this is the display that we can see already. I have a second display on this computer. It's just, you know, hanging out over there. So there's that. I'm going to go back to display 1, hit OK, and now that's here. So let's go ahead, and I want my display capture to be in the background no matter what. So I'm going to drag it down, or you could use the arrows here. So up or down moves whichever selected source. It'll move it up or down. And then let's go ahead and add the camera. We already added it in our intermission camera scene over here. So all I gotta do is click it. I don't want to add a new one. I want to add the one we just did. So I'll hit my crappy cam, hit OK, and here it is. We can make it smaller because this is not gonna be the primary focus on this scene. We're gonna be playing a game here, right? So let's just move it wherever you want it. It snaps onto the edges. And there you go. So the stream can hear us, the stream can see us, the stream can see what we're doing, and you have your basic stream. You're good to go. Congratulations. You're officially a streamer. They grew up so fast. I knew you could do it. I knew you could. Now wait just a minute, Sandwich. You said that you're all about people having the best stream they possibly can have. How dare you stop at that basic crap right there. Nobody wants to come in and see that stuff. Told you, this video's for beginners, dude. Like, beginners, man.
But wait, there's more.
Here we go. Let's make your audio not sound like crap, relatively speaking. If you look down below at my bar when I'm quiet, there's still sound coming through. That's because we haven't put on a noise gate, and I have a noisy PC behind the microphone that's getting picked up, and it's probably picking up my fan and some other ambient noises. I have kids that run around in the house, so all of that stuff is going to get picked up in this microphone. So we want to set up a noise gate. It's super simple to do. It's under filters. Each source is not going to have a filter on it automatically, so you just got to add one. We go to noise gate. Okay, and the way I typically do my noise gate is I'll move it out of the way so I can see my volume meter here. And what I want to do is, this is default, so let's see how it sounds. Remember, this microphone's here. It's not the one that you see in front of me. So let's move the microphone to where it would be on stream. Got it there. Now, I'm going to not talk, and we'll see what kind of noise it picks up if this gate is working. Test. So it looks like for me that the default noise gate looks pretty good in for this microphone where it's sitting. I don't like it sitting on my desk, and if I type, that definitely gets picked up. I have a noisy clicky keyboard. So what you would want to do is you move the open threshold, so move the close down just for now. So you want to move the open threshold, because what this threshold does is it listens for sound. And once it reaches a certain volume, a certain decibel level, it'll open up the microphone and allow OBS to hear what's going on. So you want to move this down to where, you know, the quietest you will talk on stream is going to activate the gate. It's going to open up the gate to allow sound through. Test. This is my quiet volume. The software needs to know when to close that gate too. So although it seems like this one's working okay, I don't know what kind of noise you will have in your background. And most people recommend keeping this within 5 or 6 decibels of the open threshold. You do want it to be lower than open because you don't want it closing with a louder volume than you talking. So this is 5 decibels. So you can do anywhere in here, and that should be fine as far as open and close. And that way you won't have weird background noise in your stream. That should do okay for this microphone. For the volume I'm talking, should be all right. Now let's look at some transitions, because you're not going to be on the same scene the entire stream. You're going to be switching from intermission to, you know, be right back, to gameplay, back to your camera scene. Maybe you want to do an ending screen, etc. So you obviously set those up the same way you set up the other scenes before. But now your transitions you can find over here on the right hand side. So you have the type of transition in a drop-down menu. These are the two defaults that came with my installation of OBS. And then how long you want them to take. So remember, milliseconds is like a 1,000th of a second, or 1,000th of a second. So 500 is half a second. You can see what the fade looks like. Let's go to the intermission cam. It sort of fades into it and fades back out over the course of 500 milliseconds. They do have more built in, so you can always change the settings on whichever one is selected. You hit the settings wheel, and fade, I guess, doesn't have any other settings, but let's add a Stinger transition. This is gonna be, I don't think I have it on this computer, but what happens is this plays a video that'll play like in between switching scenes. Okay, so I just did this really stupid video that you can add as a transition. So the Stinger, once you add it, you just hit the cog wheel, hit properties, and then you select your video files. Let's see if I can find it. It should be under PC videos, and I just did this one. So let's test it to see what it looks like. Okay, so now that that's selected, it'll do that stupid little video. Oh, hey! And then I'm on the next scene. See, here I am. So, but that's what you do for a Stinger. And then you just change the transition point. Let's open that back up. You change the transition point. So what just happened now is it went at immediately when I started the video, it changed. But if it's gonna be 500 milliseconds, then let's do like right in the middle, so 250. There's no audio that I needed, and boom, there we go. So now it does that, and I'm on the other scene again. So Stingers are pretty cool. So that's a transition thing you can do to not make it just a boring fade or cut. That's such a stupid transition. Okay, so there are a few other things that you might want to add onto your stream. So let's say you want to add let's do another scene. Let's do text. Oh, there's my Stinger. Okay, so you want to add some text. That's super easy. Just take the text option here. I usually name it what I want it to say or what it's about. Name is already in use. Okay. So be right back. Be right back. And you can just type in what you need. Change the font, whatever you want it to be. And you can change the color. Make it a gradient if you want. Let's say you want it to be like, let's just do a blue. A blue, be right back. You can add a background. So again, there's something you want to do is just add a background. Let's add an image. Let's take background. Let's find an image on the computer. We can do, where are my pictures? I did this pull-up drawing, so let's make this our background. And see right now how it's in the front. It's in the front. We need to drag this down to be behind the be right back. Now the be right back is in front. Select that. Let's make it a little bit bigger. And we have a be right back screen. Say you want an alert to show up on your stream when someone follows you or when someone donates to you, gives you bits, whatever the case is. You can do that with the browser source. I'm going to do stream elements. I have a bunch of different ones, so I'm going to put main so I know which one it is. And then we can go to that web page. So we're going to come back to this box in just a minute. Well, let's go ahead and go up to Stream Elements. I already opened it up. So you'll have to log in with, you can use Streamlabs too, Mutsy, a few other places out there. I prefer Stream Elements. So do this. Once you're logged in to what your service of choice, for Stream Elements, you go to your overlay, and you should be able to find somewhere the URL for what you want. So I have my main alerts here. I want to copy the URL. I go back to OBS. I'm going to paste that URL here. I change the size to the canvas size, so 1920 by 1080, and hit OK. And it looks like nothing happened, but if you notice, it's still sitting here over here in the sources page. And I want that to be on all of my pages, so that way I know when I get an alert. So I'm going to copy it. I'm just going to go to each page, paste reference, it puts it on top automatically. And then same deal on the intermission page, paste it. Again, it's on top automatically. You can see that here, okay? So now what I can do is I can emulate an alert. Let's open it up just so we can see what it's gonna look like on stream here. Let's minimize these down so you can see in OBS what's gonna happen. I just want to emulate a follow. And there you go. And that's gonna be on every single scene. So do the scener, it's still hanging out in this scene. Change scenes, it's still there. Let's do a cheer. There you go. So it's gonna go ahead and be on every single scene that you want, which is great. Now, that's getting kind of annoying to me, having that scener go on every single time, so let's take it off of the... Let's do this transition override. So what this means is, if you don't want that scener to play when you're going to this specific scene, you can override it. So under transition override, it brings up all the different transitions that you've got set up currently, and I'm gonna do this as a fade. Let's do the fade. So now when I go from here to gameplay, it'll run the scener. But if I go back to the intermission screen, it's just gonna fade in. So there you go. You don't have to have the same transition for every single scene, which is super nice. And let's do one more browser source. Let's say you want to see chat on screen, but maybe you just want to see it on your gameplay scene, or let's do it the other way. Maybe you just want to see it on your intermission scene. You want your chat to be off to the side here. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to make in Stream Elements, I'm going to go ahead and make a different overlay that's just for chat. So I have one, but let's not do that right now. This is just going to be a basic overlay here. We're going to make, it's going to be 1080p. We're going to start that. We're going to add a widget. Go ahead, and it's under Stream Tools, Stream Chat. So now this is going to be on, I wanted it to be on the right side, so let's put it on the right. Let's go ahead and save this. Overlay name is going to be chat box. We're going to go back. Again, you have to get that URL, okay? You have to go in, copy URL, go into your OBS, whichever scene you want it on. So this one, for example, I'm going to add another browser source. This one's going to be different than the last one. So you go into browser source. Let's name it chat. And let's paste that URL that we just copied. And we'll do the same thing. So 1080, 1920, 1080. Okay. And it should show up. You can see the box there. There's no chat because I haven't talked in my chat. So that's one way to have chat. There are, like I said, there are other options out there that you can use. There's Streamlabs that has, I think I like the Streamlabs chat a little better because it's a little more customizable. And then there are some other widgets you can find. If you want to explore, you can do so. But this is how you would get any of that stuff on your screens. You can add a little webcam border, so that would be done via an image, or you can, if you had a browser source, you can just put that over the top of your webcam. That's pretty straightforward. So yeah, that's pretty much everything you need to know on setting up OBS in a nutshell. And we'll be doing other videos in the future to get you a little more advanced, to get you a little better at using OBS, and some really cool, tricks and ideas that'll make the process and the experience it'll make the experience a lot better for you. So that's about it for this video, guys. Just let me know what you thought. I know this is more designed for beginners, the basic uses of it, just to get you up and running. If you'd like to see a tutorial on Streamlabs OBS or XSplit as well, I'd be more than happy to do one of those in the future if there's enough demand for it. So let me know what you think. Comment in the description, or comment in the comments below, and I do read all those. I like to respond to you guys and connect. So let's do that. Let's connect. Also, remember, follow me on Twitch. I stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check me out in the Discord. We got a great community over there, willing to help people out and answer any questions you may have. And then check out the other social medias as well. I'll just put those in the description. Not worth going through all of them. Trying to save you some time and not, take it all up. But with that being said, and without further ado, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.
Game.